I'm sad to say that this episode is going to have a much more somber tone than what you're accustomed to. Those of you who watched my previous episode will already know that I was recently the victim of a violent assault. It all started when one of our viewers was kind enough to sell me a pristine set of advanced design rear fenders, something that I have been searching for many years now. Afterwards, whilst I was paddling my canoe home, I stopped to feed a flock of Saskatchewan Wildebeests, as I often do. Little did I know that things were about to take a dangerous turn. It was a full moon that day, and one of the normally docile creatures suddenly turned aggressive and began a horrific attack. Now, I can tolerate physical abuse, but the verbal abuse that I had to endure was almost too much for my fragile ego to handle. In the battle that ensued, my canoe became capsized, and I was forced to use this fender as a shield to protect myself, during which one of the wildebeest's great tusks pierced through the original sheet metal and caused a great deal of damage to this fender. Shortly thereafter, the wildebeest scampered off. Perhaps it was my girlish screams that scared it away, or maybe it just realized that my skeletal body was not going to make a very nourishing meal. Can't really see it, but there is a low through here. And then obviously we still got to work and get this weld area smooth out some more. But we'll just keep going at it. Just a little trick for finishing out the last little bit of a welded seam, whether MIG or TIG, is I like to use a bastard file to just take that last little bit down rather than use a grinder, which is quite aggressive. And I find the Vixen file, it just kind of floats over a weld and doesn't really take it out as good as it would need to be. So
That's just another little tip there that I found works well is use a bastard file to just blend that last little bit of weld out into the surrounding metal without actually further damaging the metal or removing too much material. So it has come a long way, and it looks kind of okay, but I can still feel it's not there. It's like 85, 90% there. And at this point, I've been going back and forth for a fair bit, and we're just kind of chasing our tail now. It's kind of like using a mud hog to block your car. You never finish out your block sanding with a mud hog. You got to use a straight block. So we're going to switch over to the Vixen file here just to get the final 10% that we're after, and then hopefully that'll take care of that. Oh, there's another beautiful afternoon wasted on something that doesn't matter. So the weld seam went through here. Obviously, this was all pretty tortured. And yeah, we did leave a few little Easter eggs there for the people who always like to study things and to find the flaws. So here we go. There's a ding here. There's a ding up here. And if we look at the weld here, you can still see that there's a few little pits where it was welded, and I'm going to do nothing about that because I don't care. And right somewhere in here, you saw there was a scratch going through here, which was pretty minor, but because if you post things on the internet, you got to make them better than look better than what they actually are, or what is necessary. So a little trick I use for doing stainless trim, if it's got a gouge in it, I'll use this thing here on the backside and kind of poke it up just to get it at the same plane or whatever as everything else. So that's what we did on that little gouge that we had, which again, polyester primer or spot putty would have taken care of that. But if I had left it, then somebody's gonna let me know that I had left it. So Now in actual theory, this whole fender has damage throughout it, minor damage, but still damage. So if we were doing this for real, we would be working the whole fender as one unit. But this is just a fender that I'm tossing on a junk truck to kind of patch up and flip. So we're not fixing the whole thing, we're just leaving it kind of scuzzy as it is. And because this is a rounded panel, I don't think anything we did here is going to affect the repairability of this fender in the future. It is fairly good considering most of the fenders on these trucks are usually destroyed. So, but we'll brush on some primer or something over this, so it's not. Could have stopped a while back, but I needed some content this week, so that's why we ruined our life there. And yeah. As far as shrinking discs go, I think they are a good, worthy investment. As I said in the past, I wasn't entirely convinced by them, but I bought the combo set from Restyling, and so previously I had bought this one about 10 years ago, and I thought I had bought it from Proshaper. But now that I look at it, there's a big difference between this one and this one. So I think this is a cheap knockoff. I can't remember where I got it, but it's not made as nicely, and it seems to be a different grade of stainless as well than what these ones are made of. So these ones are a lot, seem to be a lot better quality. So I definitely recommend getting the Proshaper discs, and I'm looking forward to giving this one a try. This one I found that it is limited. It does work, but as you saw, we still had to do more of we still had to go to the body file to get our final finish on it. Thing is, there's such a small contact surface on this, and even on that rounded fender, it's kind of like trying to block sand a 59 Cadillac with a block this size. Like it's just going to go, where it wants to go, whereas this is going to contact a larger area and do a better job of leveling it out. So I'm really looking forward to trying this one out. I do have to invest in a 9-inch Makita grinder to get this one working properly, and so that's going to be our next big tool purchase. I don't know when we're going to go for that yet. It's a couple $100 Canadian, and I don't really don't have that money to spend right now, but when I'm looking forward to giving this one a shot on the chicken truck door. That's what some of you have been asking about that, and we were waiting to get our discs in because I wanted to really use this on the skin and see how it works on that. The other thing is I'd like to continue to experiment with different, I guess, coatings or whatever to help prevent galling. I did notice as we went, it's almost like the disc needed to be broken in because the galling wasn't as bad once I used it a bit. It kind of, it was less dramatic when I first started. It was kind of like taking a grinding stone almost and going across there. I was a little concerned that it was going to cause some issues, but all those it all kind of sanded over very easily, so it wasn't really a concern, I guess. For a few people say they use ivory bar soap, so I'm going to try that. I know Ray Schlien, he has a big, fat marker that he uses, and when I bought these I know the marker that he uses was out of stock on his Amazon store, so I didn't buy that, and they're like $30 Canadian for a little marker. So I, most of the parts I fix are only worth $30. So I'm kind of trying to find a different solution for that. And again, just using that smaller permanent marker is kind of a pain. And none of this is a fast process, but I do think that this helps to kind of get you where you need to go, I guess. There's not really any one miracle tool that does just everything. It's a combination of all different processes. So this is just another kind of piece of equipment that we'll be utilizing in the future, and I think it's going to help out a bit. Again, the biggest thing is it comes down to your patience more than anything else, I think. And the best tools in the world in the wrong hands just can do more damage than good. And this isn't going to just magically, erase horrific damage, but it did a pretty good, it did a pretty convincing job of helping to remove that damage with all the other techniques that we were using. So definitely, again, something to look into if you're getting into this or you want to repair stuff. Again, this one's fairly limited. I did want to get this one though because I have an area on my 36 Chevy fender at the bottom that's all chowdered up, and I think this one's going to work better for that. It'll get into that smaller area, but this one I think overall will do a much better job. But I'm really looking forward to trying that out as well. My biggest pet peeve with YouTube videos is there's so many videos of people showing how to do stuff, but they only show like the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes of the repair, or they only get it to 60% or whatever, and then they just say, well, if you keep going you'll get it to this, but they never actually show where they get it to. So you always got to take everything you see on the internet with a grain of salt. So I'm not a how-to channel. I don't like to think of it that way, even though some people seem to get something out of it, and I try to explain what I'm doing, but I don't see this is more of a watch me work. But I do kind of try to take repairs to, if I'm going to do something, we'll do it to where we're done with it, whatever stage that is, and then you can see the whole process from start to finish, and that way there's no question about whether these whether the techniques are valid or not. Obviously what we do is far from perfect, and it's not going to be a show quality repair. Nothing we do here is, because that's not what we're going for, but I just like to show the whole thing, and that way we're not leaving people guessing, and it's not very helpful when you're learning. If you go on and you see somebody doing something and they say it will work, but they don't show you that it works, and then you try doing it for yourself, and then you find out that they're full of it. And there's still people that say I'm full of it, but then they won't show any of their work when I ask them. So that's my daily rant on the internet.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. As you can see, we were able to revive our damaged fender. Bad news is I just got back from my tailor, and my beloved smoking jacket that was damaged in the attack is sadly no longer restorable. Just said it couldn't be saved. So this is the end of the line for it, I'm afraid. So I'd really appreciate it if you would all join me in a moment of silence for the smoking jacket. Yeah, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to discuss safety. In the previous video, one of my regular viewers mentioned that my coat is getting a little unsafe and it's going to be getting caught in the equipment. I'm not a real big safety advocate, but for once I actually do agree. This is getting to be a bit of a hazard, so or you might hate it, that's fine too. Don't bother me. Where's the van?
Hot off the press, quite literally, because it seems as though I've set myself on fire again.
But my furnace quit working and it's really cold out. So we're gonna have to improvise here. I think that's enough of that. It's certainly been an icon on the channel, and I hope that its absence isn't going to interfere with your viewing enjoyment going forward.